Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Gores here. We hosted the first common charity event today. It was a ton of fun. We had 8 players, 5 different decks. 3 of them were quite expected. We had 3 copies of Tenyi in the event, and not a single one of them made it to the finals. We had some quite unique decks in the finals, as well as some cool decks in round 1 and 2. So we're going to get into our first feature match here, and while you guys are waiting for that, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. So for our first feature match, we have Ignister versus Blind Second Regenesis. So in this first feature match, we have quite a cool deck here, right, in this Blind Second Regenesis. Unfortunately for the Ignister player, and I think they even say it in chat too, they just weren't on the Link Spider. So the first thing that happens here is they activate Cynet Mining and they add Aichichi from deck to hand. And then from there, they normal summon Aichichi. Aichichi effect to go grab the Pakari. Then they link off into Almirage and activate the AI Ignister land. They go ahead and use Pakari to grab I to meet you. Then they link those two off into Splash Mage, then activate I to meet you, revealing Code Igniter. I always thought you had to reveal a Link monster, but I guess you don't. And then they go grab the Doyon. From here, they are going to use the field spell, even though they didn't declare it, to special summon Doyon. And then they use the effect of Splash Mage, and I think they forgot to use the effect of Doyon to add back here to kind of not play into this Nib as bad. And then their whole board gets tributed. Nib comes down. They summon the Nib token in attack because it only has 2,700, and then they set infinite impermanence here. I don't think that's going to be enough, though, unfortunately. They activate Pot of Extravagance, drawing Godarla and Baldrake, and then from here, they use the Baldrake to banish Pakari and summon it out, and then they just go straight to battle phase. They swing over the token, they attack directly for 2,500, move to main phase 2, set Regenesis Birth, and the Ignister player scoops up game 1. Game 2 goes kind of similar, unfortunately, for this Ignister player. I think they'll definitely be on Link Spider in the future. Pakari comes down, grabs I to meet you because they already opened the Ignister land. They activate I to meet you, revealing the Heat Leo, accidentally adding Doyon, and then putting it back to add the Aichichi. From there, they link off into Almirage and use the field spell to summon out the Aichichi. And then they grab Doyon from there. From there, they go link off into the Splash Mage, and I think the Regenesis player lets them get a little bit further this time. Just kind of creating that false sense of hope, I suppose, since they have the Kaiju anyways. They summon out Dark Templar. They use the effect, summon it. Not sure what the miscommunication here with the Nibiru was. They summon out the other 3 monsters. Nib comes down like a hammer and then summons out the token. It is a quite beefy token, but it is just going to turn into a sticky string kaiju. From here, they're going to start with Extra, drawing 2 cards, and then immediately summon Sticky String to our opponent's field. They special summon their own Sticky String, and then they summon out the Regenesis Dragon and Baldrake. And then the Ignister player just scoops it up. It's too much to come back from, especially with Called By and Ghost Ogre. There's no way this Ignister player was winning next turn. So let's get into the next feature match. So the next feature match we have Grimoire Gaming and TDG Moose. Grimoire is on the blind second. It's funny stuff in the chat there. Grimoire Gaming is on Tenyi, and the other player is on Tenpai. So Tenpai can still OTK, as you guys are gonna see, even in common charity. They link off into Monk. Monk summons Adhara from deck. And then they think here, they decide to summon Vishuda instead. Very nice of Moose to let them do that. And then they Vessel, send, and add. They link off into Shaman. Shaman effect, pitching back the Adhara to summon out Monk, banishing Adhara to add Ashuna back to hand, tribute off the Shaman, and pass it back. Gets rid of that big thumbs up, and then activates Raigeki. They're going to banish the Chithana so they can summon out the Monk. Slumber comes down, summoning Dogeron and Kumungus from deck. They activate Twin Twister, destroying Called by the Grave. They chain it to banish Sticky Strings. Terraforming comes out, grabbing Sandgun Summoning, activate Sandgun Summoning, go grab Chundra, discard the Sticky String. Battle Phase, Dogoran squishes the spider, and then Chundra attacks directly, hitting them for 15, searching from deck to summon out Phaedra, hits them for 16. From there, they synchro summon into the oh, that's Kui Belt. I think they meant to summon. Yeah, they summon they summoned the Bident Draggy in here, bringing back the Phaedra. Phaedra brings back the Chundra, and then from there they just scoop it up because that's enough damage. And even if it wasn't, they could just sink into Meteor Burst for game. Grimoire says no shot. Uh, it's kind of good, yeah. Nobody was on Melodious. Nobody saw it. From here, we're going to see the Tenyi player open a very similar hand, as well as the Tenpai player. Takes some time to think about it, summons out the Vishuddha, summons out Monk Vessel, sends Ashina, adds Adhara, special summon Adhara, activate Ashina, special summon the Chitana from deck, uh, links off into Monk, Adhara adds back the Ashina, then they tribute summon into Vanities and set Blackout. From here, the Dark Hole hits. They use the Chitana to summon back Monk. The Tenpai player is not going to play into the Blackout here, tributing off Monk to summon Dogoran, activating Terraforming, Sandgun summoning into Chundra, discarding a Phaedra, normal summoning Phaedra to get back Phaedra. Special summons out the Chundra here, goes to the battle phase, swings, takes 1500, but it won't be destroyed by battle because there's a Phaedra. Summons from deck, synchros off into Bident. Bident brings back the Chundra. Then they go ahead and synchro into Kui Belt, which is a common that when it's synchro summoned, it destroys a card, and it's a dragon, so that's, lets them avoid any kind of locks if their deck ends up making them into one. I think another option here was I think the Tenpai player actually could have just outright won if they had used the Kui Belt to destroy the Sandgen summon and then boost this to 52. And then oh no, it wouldn't have been enough damage. But still it's a play you can do in the deck. From here, they lose a bunch of life points. They link off these two into the spheres pass. They actually shotgun the spheres and standby to bounce Blackout, which is really smart for the Tenpai player because now they can't just outright lose to Blackout. And then they summon out the Kawakimirror Drago from deck, meaning that they can't summon Ashina and they can't really do anything else. Like they kind of just lose here. So they scoop it up and we'll get on to the finals. So we get a double GLU2 from them. They were waiting for the other players. Super awesome that everybody was here to just help support the channel as well as the format. Let's try and make this format grow, y'all. So from here, they are going to the Crystron player wins the die roll and gets to go first. They're going to start off by activating the inclusion here, and then from there they use the Solfador to summon itself, and then they send the Thistvern and the Sulfnir. Thistvern is going to banish and search Citri, and then they're going to synchro into Eloskeletus, adding back the inclusion. Then they use the Sulfefnir to pitch inclusion and summon itself and pop itself, and then Sulfefnir summons Ryan from deck. They set the cluster as well as Super Poly and pass. Tenpai player starts off with Dark Hole, which both of those cards will be destroyed now, and then they use the Eloskeletus effect to get back the Citri. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber comes down, summoning Dogoran and Sticky String, and then they use Burner to pitch 2 and summon the Blaster from deck. They link off into Spheres. I wonder if this is not the most correct line to go down. Since they know they have the cluster set, they banish the Blaster and the Redox, and then search out Chundra. From here, they go to battle phase. They swing with the Dogoran. The Crystron player thinks on end of main. They actually can't nib here. Crystron player trying to commit crime, as their name suggests. Uh, Cluster shuffles back the Thistvern and pops a card. Normal summons Recycler, sending Smyger. Smyger's gonna go search out the Crystron Inclusion. They search Citri, then immediately normal summon it. They pop the Inclusion to summon back the Solefnir from Graveyard, sending Solfefnir and the Thistvern. They use the effect of Spheres, which they chain Cluster, pop Redox, and then from there, summons out Blaster, banishes Inclusion to summon back the Ellis Skeletus, and then summons out the Chanbara, swings with the Chanbara, attacks directly for 2200, and that is game one. Game two happens here pretty quick, y'all. So they start off, they open pretty good. They're also playing this card, Fury of Kyriushin. They're siding this card as well as Torrential Tribute, and it's a pretty cool card. So it lets them add Torrential Tribute from deck to hand, and then if a water monster they control would be destroyed by card effect, they can banish it instead. This card's really good for going first for Crystron because it prevents them from being destroyed by really popular board breakers such as Dark Hole. Dark Hole, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, Raigeki, all kinds of cards that just like this card lets you play around, as well as them being able to like flip the Torrential Tribute in a Lunalight matchup, destroying a bunch of their cards and then just banishing the Kyriushin instead. So, Crystron player normal summons Smyger, links off for Almirage, then uses the effect of the Smyger to search out the Inclusion, activates Inclusion. Inclusion is going to go search them another copy of Sulfador. Then they use the Sulfador to pop the Inclusion, summon itself, then use the effect, sending Thistvern and Cluster. Then they use the effect of Thistvern to banish itself and search out Ryan, which is an interesting choice. Then they discard the Ryan to summon the Solfefnir. Solfefnir effect is going to summon out Citri, and then they're going to Synchro 7 and make Ellis Skeletus. Ellis Skeletus is going to use its effect to add back that Crystron cluster that they sent. Then they set the cluster and they activate Fury. I wonder if you're not supposed to do this first so that your opponent doesn't know where your trap cards are. Then they banish the Inclusion to summon back the Citri, which is pretty solid for them because they can at least summon back like the Solfefnir and make another copy of Ellis Skeletus, and then like the Tenpai player is going to have a hard time breaking this board. So they go ahead, they start with Dragon Ravine, uh, discarding the set rotation, chains Cluster here to pop the Dragon Ravine, putting them on 4 cards to be able to break the board with Torrential Set as well as Droll and Lockbird. They go ahead, they use the effect of Sandgun Summoning to add the Chundra here. And then from there, they normal summon out the Phaedra and then special summon Chundra. And then they summoned Sticky Strings, tributing the Ellis Skeletus here. So he thinks here, he goes to battle phase, which the Crystron player uses the effect of Citri to bring back the Sulfador, and then Synchro 7 into another copy of Ellis Skeletus, using the effect to add back that Inclusion. And then from there, they go to swing into the Almirage here, and then the Almirage effect, they were going to lose the life points, but then I guess they changed their mind. They used the effect of the Almirage to make it so that they can make one of their monsters indestructible from card effects. So they target their Ellis Skeletus, and then the Tenpai player attacks the Kumungus, and it won't be destroyed by battle thanks to the Phaedra. And then they search and they special summon out the other copy of Phaedra. And then they quick synchro here into the Bident and use Bident to bring back Chundra. And then the Crystron player flips Torrential. And unfortunately, they use the effect of the Ellis Skeletus here to bring back the Ryan. And then they attempt to pass, but at the end of battle phase, Ryan activates, summoning back Thistvern. Then they quick synchro into Kendama, which is an insane card to be able to play in Common Charity. They activate the Inclusion, and they kind of just overextend and show off a little bit here. I think there was probably a better way to do it. A little bit of an oopsie. He said he was lagging. I'm pretty sure he's playing from overseas. Then he banishes the Sulfador and then burns for 500. Normal summons Citry, special summons the Sulfador, sends 2 more names. Synchro 7 into the Ellis Skeletus, inclusion to bring back the second copy, and then swings for game. So, what an awesome deck. Crystron has so much of its support. It's definitely a powerful deck, and Crystron Crimes, as it were, ends up winning the game. They made this dueling book just so that they could play this format with us, y'all. So, make sure you guys do the same. Make a dueling book if you don't already have one. If you do have one, try to make your favorite deck work in Common Charity. And let's get into these deck profiles I have for you guys for the first and second place lists. So here is the second place list. It was pretty consistent, pretty powerful deck. The side deck, I don't think we got to see any bit of that in this tournament. I don't think any of the players made the Tenpai player go first, but I'm sure this card was creeping in there just to be safe. And yeah, the deck functioned pretty well. As always, I'll put the import file down in the description box down below for you guys. And while you're down there, make sure you're hitting that like button. So let's check out the first place list. And here we have the first place list. This Crystron list was pretty cool. Again, this Fury of Kairi Yushin is a pretty slept on card, I feel like, in Common Charity. They have the ability to search Torrential Tribute, which just keeps them safe from the board breaker cards that are super prevalent in this format. With that being said, y'all, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you try to attend one of these events that we have going. They're going to be run every day at noon Eastern time on duelingbook.com. This is Gores, hopping off.